Hey everybody, I'm joined here with Nick, a guitarist here at Real Brave. This is Guitar Lessons 1. It's a series that we're developing and producing here at the studio. It'll be available in Practice Pad. And if you sign up for Practice Pad, obviously if you're watching this, it's a wonderful resource to take lessons. It's got its own video platform. But you can also get this in the Practice Portal, which is a Facebook group. And Nick is graciously here today to talk to us about the parts of the guitar and tuning. So I'm going to yield the floor to this guy and let him do his thing.
Hello, hello. So as Dan said, my name is Nick. I'm a teacher a guitar teacher and keyboard and bass teacher at the Queens location for Real Brave. Today we're just going to kind of quickly go through some of the basics for guitar, just in terms of like stuff that will be really helpful to know, especially as there's probably just some like vocabulary that I might throw out in some of the earlier lessons that it will be helpful to just know right off the bat. So first things first, I just want to kind of talk about what we've got here in my lap. This is a guitar. There are many kinds of guitars. You might be a little confused by these guys. There's usually a big hole right in the middle. It's called the sound hole. These actually do the exact same thing. They're just called F-holes. It looks a little bit like a violin or a bass, so don't be confused or worry too much about that. What we've got here going this way are our strings. And one big thing that that's pretty obvious. One big thing that I want to go over before we even really start is what frets are, because that is a word you'll be hearing me say a lot. And there's a couple of things that can be a little confusing about that. So when the word fret actually refers to these little metal guys that are going up and down on the neck. So we've got a fret here, we've got a fret here, and all these are frets. But if I say, for instance, put your finger on the third fret, I'm actually talking about the space in between them. So the third fret would be 1, 2, 3, right here. So if I say put your finger on the third fret on the first string, it means right there, and you're getting, again, like right in between these kind of metal bars. Also important to know is that the string order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 1 is going to be the kind of like high up here, and 6 is all the way, it's the string, so you get the kind of like big bassy sound. If you're curious, the names of the strings are E, B, G, D, A, and E. You don't really have to remember that perfectly right now, but if you feel like it, you can write it down. Or if you ever forget and you need to know for some reason, you can always Google it, and it is very easy information to find. The next thing I want to talk about is holding your pick. You can always finger pick your strings. Finger picking just means picking with your fingers. But for our purposes, we are going to want to learn how to use one of these. Again, it's not like not every guitar player uses one, but it's good to know at least how to use one. So yeah, most picks look something like this, kind of like a teardrop shape almost. And the pointy end is the part that you actually want to be kind of plucking the strings with. So the way you hold it is you get your thumb and your first finger on whichever hand you're using to pick. I use my right hand because I'm righty. And you're going to want to hold it kind of pointy end down. Take your thumb and put it behind your pick. And then kind of curl your index finger and bam, just kind of hug it like that. You don't need to be like squeezing it. You don't want all that tension in your wrist, but hold it tight enough that it's not going to fall out. And then the next thing we're going to do is sit back. Guitar's on the lap. We're sitting up straight, nice and comfortable. And it's really good to just try taking a strum through the strings. So I would kind of rest your pick on the 6th string, the low string right up here, and then just try and like push through the strings. Just, imagine that your hand weighs 100 pounds and it's just getting pulled down towards the ground by gravity. So just. And honestly, it sounds kind of silly, but I might try just going up and down, up as well, just a couple times to get a feel for what that's like. Once you're a little comfortable with that, now you know how to use a pick. That's half the battle. And yeah, if you have any questions about that, you can just try it a couple more times. And again, just like you always want to do something that feels comfortable. If your wrist feels a little bit weird, that's a sign that your body's telling you that like maybe you're not holding it quite right. Maybe you need to like change the angle of your wrist, or like, I don't know, sit on a stool or something. And the last thing I want to go over is tuning, because a lot of the time, right now my guitar is tuned, but a lot of the time you pick up your guitar, especially around the winter time, which it currently is, it will sound more something like this, which is a lot less nice to listen to. And your parents or your roommate or whoever else might be in your house will probably enjoy hearing you practice a lot less if you don't tune your guitar. So these little dials right here, knobs, whatever you want to call them, these are your tuning pegs. And what they do is they're attached to each string, and they change what each string sounds like. So this one is for your 6th string, your low E. And you can see that if I turn it, the sound is changing. And what's changing is what we call pitch. This is lower, this is higher. So to make it higher, we're going to turn it counterclockwise, or to our left. And to make it lower, we turn it clockwise, or to our right. So, as I said before, this string is supposed to be an E. What you can do is you download a tuner app. If you just look on the App Store and search tuner, there's a million free ones, super easy to find. Pluck the string. You always want to let it ring out for a minute or so. Let me see if I can give you a little demonstration of what this looks like. If you can see that clearly enough, right now it says E. Oh, back that way. You're also getting a nice reflection of my face in this. It's not working quite too well. You'll have to take my word for it that it says E. And there's like a little needle that's kind of going back and forth, and you want that to be dead center. A lot of tuners will have a green light that turns on when you have it right, or some will even make a sound. And now it's correct. If the needle is too far to the right, that means the note is too high. And if it's to the left, that means the note is too low. Also, some tuners will like have little hints that pop up in text form that'll kind of explain how to do this. But that's the most basic understanding, which will get you pretty far. So that's one string down. 2nd string, way too low. Now the green light's on because it was too low, and I turned it counterclockwise and got it right on the money. Here's our 3rd string, also too low. I can tell it's too low because it's to the left of the center. So I'm going to turn it clockwise again. Sorry, counterclockwise. And there we go. Now, quick thing to note, if you have a guitar that looks like this, where it has tuning pegs on both sides, this part of the guitar is called the headstock, by the way, or just the head. If you've got one that looks like this that has tuners on both sides, the ones on the bottom, the directions flip. And you can tell that because actually the string is wound around this peg in the opposite direction. So for here, if I want to go higher, I turn it clockwise. And lower it goes counterclockwise. So now I've got that string. This one's actually too high, so counterclockwise. Last one, too low, going clockwise. And there it is. And it'll be pretty obvious if you're like practicing something and you're out of tune. If it doesn't sound quite right, the first thing you should always do is pull up your tuner and just give each string a quick check. Generally, if you tune every couple days, your strings won't ever be as far out of tune as mine just were. Usually they'll just be like a little bit off and they need like a little bit of a tune up, no pun intended. So yeah, that should be about as quick of a run through as just like basic parts of a guitar, just kind of prepping you for how we're going to talk about this wonderful instrument.
All right. So there you have it. We're going to be doing lessons here at Real Brave Online, and we have a whole portal for this in Facebook. Let me try that again. We have a Facebook group called the Practice Portal. We also have Practice Pad, which is where we do our lessons online. It's our own place. And I want you to join me next time. We'll be doing this pretty soon. Weekly lessons with Nick here. He's going to walk us through beginner guitar lessons. And Nick, thank you for your time here.
Of course.
All right, guys. See you soon.